Okay, so this is one of those stories that just stops you in your tracks. The everyday hero, a driver, a lion, and a moment of choice. Imagine this. You're just doing your job, your everyday route, everything is totally normal, and then bam. In an instant, you're the only person who can stop a life or death struggle happening right in front of your eyes. That is exactly what happened to one delivery driver, and that split second choice they made, well, that's what we're going to break down right now. It's a question we've all probably asked ourselves, right? When danger shows up out of nowhere, do you run or do you act? For most of us, it's just a hypothetical, but for the person in our story, it became terrifyingly real. So let's look at what happens when you have literally just a split second to make that call. So let's set the scene. Our story starts not with some big dramatic bang, but with the quiet, everyday hum of a delivery van making its rounds on an ordinary route. You know the rhythm of a delivery driver's day, right? It's that familiar hum. Quiet street after quiet street, the click of the seatbelt, the soft thud of a package hitting a porch. It's a job that's built on a really predictable, almost monotonous beat. But that beat, it was about to be violently shattered.
And that's when it happened. In the middle of all that quiet routine, a desperate cry.
Okay, so the driver pulls up to the next house. You're looking at another lawn, another front porch. From inside that van, it looks exactly like the 100 other stops you've already made that day, except it wasn't. And then, a sound that broke the silence. It wasn't just noise. It was a sound that cuts right through the quiet afternoon air. A sound of pure panic. The kind of sound that tells you something is terribly, terribly wrong. So the driver looks over, and the whole scene just unfolds in this horrifying instant. You've got a pet, a family dog, in absolute peril. It's being attacked by a mountain lion, right there in the driveway. And the owners? They're standing right there, just feet away, but they're completely frozen, just watching. And this is a really critical detail from the story. The owners were, and this is a direct quote, too frightened to help. Now, that's not a judgment call on them at all. I mean, that's a completely human reaction. Fear can absolutely paralyze you. But what it meant in that moment was that if anyone was going to do anything, it wasn't going to be. And so, here we are, the moment of choice. The entire weight of this situation falls onto the one person who just happened to be there by sheer chance, our delivery driver. Seriously, put yourself in their shoes for a second. You have a split second to decide. What do you do? You're safe inside your van. You could just hit the gas and drive away. And honestly, who would blame you? Or you could get involved. In that one, single, terrifying second, what's your move? And this is the calculation that's happening in an instant. On one side, you have the risk. You're looking at a powerful predator. Your own safety is absolutely on the line. But on the other side, you have the reason. A life is in danger. And the hardest part? No one else is going to act. It's all on you. And they didn't drive away. The driver chose to intervene. They saw the risk, they saw the reason, and they made their choice. And this is what's so amazing. It was some real hero-level quick thinking. This wasn't just a reckless charge. Step 1, intervene immediately. No hesitation. Step 2, use the vehicle as a shield. They literally drove the van right in between the mountain lion and the dog. And step 3, force the predator's retreat. The size of the van, the noise, it was enough to make the lion back off. And the result of that one split-second decision, the pet is saved. Because of that quick, decisive action, a life was saved right there in that driveway. Okay, so this incredible story of bravery, it's easy to think of it as just a one-off event. But it's really a snapshot of something bigger that's happening. We need to look beyond the driveway here. Because, as shocking as this whole thing is, this isn't an isolated incident, not by a long shot. These kinds of confrontations between people, our pets, and wildlife, well, they're happening more and more often. Yeah, check this out. We're seeing rising suburban wildlife encounters across the board. The sources for this story point out that it's a growing trend. So it's not just mountain lions. We're seeing more encounters with coyotes, with bears, all in these suburban areas. As our communities push out further and further into what used to be natural habitats, that line between our backyard and the actual wilderness, it's getting really, really blurry. And that, unfortunately, creates way more potential for these kinds of dangerous conflicts. And it's in these exact moments, these unexpected clashes, that we often see something amazing emerge. And that brings us to the whole idea of the everyday hero. I mean, if you just look up the dictionary definition of heroism, This is what you get. Great bravery shown in a moment of crisis, especially when it involves risking one's own safety for others. I mean, come on, that is a perfect description of what this driver did. This had nothing to do with glory. It was just a powerful human instinct to protect when it was clear no one else could. And that's the core of it, really. We're talking about an ordinary person who performed an extraordinary act. The hero here wasn't some highly trained professional or a first responder. It was a delivery driver, just doing their job on a totally normal shift. It just goes to show you, heroism isn't about the uniform you wear. It's about the choice you make when everything is on the line. So it leaves you with a pretty powerful question, doesn't it? Who will be the hero on your street? When that moment of crisis just appears out of nowhere, on our own quiet streets, who's going to be the one to step up? The answer might just be the next person who happens to drive by.